A woman with terminal cancer told me what is on the other side of losing control in your life. And it's probably not what you expect. The answer is 4 words, she said, that surprised me, and that is what will be at the end of the video. But first, I want to talk to you about what it feels like to lose control and how scary it is to not feel in control of your life and what is happening to you. So recently, I finally stopped trying to hold everything together again. This is a process. Once again in my life, I stopped trying to hold everything together and pushing so hard. And here is what happened. Everything did not indeed fall apart. I was so surprised when my coach told me that I should just take some time existing when I was burnt out. I wasn't feeling okay. I was really struggling to keep going with my YouTube channel, with my business. And she was like, just exist. And I realized in retrospect, first of all, that I didn't know how to exist or how to stop pushing. But as I started to examine the fact that I didn't feel like I could stop pushing, I was scared. I was scared that if I stopped pushing and trying to make things happen and just working so hard at everything in my life, I was afraid everything would fall apart. And it did not, actually. Good news. But it got me thinking about control and the conversation that I had with my best friend before she passed from cancer a few years ago about what really matters and about how hard we all fight for control. And just really what a futile effort it is to just try and control every single thing. And so for me, pushing, working so hard is one way that I try to stay in control. When I thought about why I was having such a hard time being okay, just doing the basics, just not trying really hard, taking a break from working so hard, it was because I was afraid that if I stopped, I'd never start again. It is fear of things becoming out of control and belief that if we push and if we just try harder, we won't get Alzheimer's, we won't lose our functionality. Prevention is real, and we are not in control. And that is very unfun. It's an unfun reality, or at least I thought it was, until I had this conversation with my friend who was experiencing terminal cancer, and her life felt very out of control. And as she started to intentionally let go of trying to control everything, she broke through to this place of peace. And that's what I feel like I'm practicing right now by having more of a mentality of it's okay to not work so hard. It's okay to take things at a pace that feels good for my nervous system and take things at a pace where I make space for what I enjoy, like painting, where I make space to listen to audiobooks and chill the heck out. We have food. We have a place to live. Thankfully, we have income that is aside from my business. And so it was actually okay and safe for me to rest and to make space to become okay again. And that's what I learned in just making this effort to exist, making this break for myself from posting every single day on YouTube. So sometimes we're fighting for control in areas that just don't have life or death consequences, right? But we make them feel perhaps like they are life or death. But then there's times where life absolutely just knocks the wind out of you. And maybe that's a diagnosis for you or a loved one. Maybe it is trying so very, very hard to do all the right things and then having it not work out, feeling like either failing or feeling like you failed at this, that, or the other. Maybe it's really hard stuff with your kids. A lot of people don't understand what you're going through if you're going through these really challenging life circumstances where just the wind got knocked out of you and it wasn't what you would have chosen. And you're walking this and it feels very lonely. If that is you, I would love to invite you to read Benediction. It is my interview with Gretchen. I think you will feel so seen. But even if you haven't experienced like super hard stuff yet, it's a book about daring to live when life is very imperfect. And that is a PDF you can download in my description. For those of you who have experienced some of the really hard, sad, isolating stuff where you're like living somebody else's nightmare, you're living what other people like can't even begin to relate to. I have a poem that Gretchen shared with me. It's so good and beautiful. It was shared by an account that we both really enjoyed, Black Liturgies. And the poem is by a woman named Jessica Grant Domond. Stop telling me of my strength. Instead, say that sometimes the world will offer scraps and glass pieces and dimly lit bulbs. Stop telling me of my power. Instead, say that things fall apart and unravel. Tell me that my world can stop with a daunting cruelty that sets other worlds in motion. Gretchen felt that really deeply. I named this chapter on letting go of control in my book Benediction, Things Unravel, based on this poem. And things do unravel, and that's a very lonely place to be. I invite you to comment if you can relate to feeling like things have unraveled. I think even just in midlife, in our 40s, in perimenopause, there is this unraveling that feels like it's happening. Just like the shit has hit the fan, everything is falling apart. We feel like we are falling apart. So if you can relate to that, please comment, because I think it is a lonely place, and I know that other people would love to read that they are not alone. So here's what Gretchen said when I asked her, what's on the other side of having control taken away? Here's the 4 words that I think will transform you. Enjoying, living, experiencing today. It's a practice of presence, right? When we let go of trying so hard to control the future and to control every little thing, and we stop pushing so hard, we can actually enjoy just being alive. We can enjoy our plants. We can enjoy doing something that we like to do. We can enjoy this moment because we're not fighting so hard to control all of the future moments that truly we cannot control. We can make efforts to create a life that we love, but we can't change what's happened. We can't control everything. And so that brings us to actually enjoying our lives today, actually finding beauty around us in this moment. And that's why I'm here. I'm Andy, I'm an artist and a mom of 5, and I live in Portugal. I want to encourage you today to enjoy living and experiencing today by finding beauty around you wherever you can find it. Not in circumstances sometimes. Sometimes our circumstances suck so bad, but perhaps you can find beauty somewhere. Please subscribe if you want to talk about things that matter in your 40s, in midlife, and beyond. I would love to have you here. I'll see you later.